This one, which is actually this one. Okay, can you see the prezzo?
Sure can.
Yes? Okay, cool. All right, just checking. Um, and just checking. Okay, the stream has started. Um, let's just make sure we've got all the right channels. Yes, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. All right. This
Great.
is exciting. Um, so then, um,
Now you've got your hand up, I think.
have I? Stream has started. Okay, cool. Okay. Uh, oh, I will unraise my hand. Okay. TGIF, it is Friday, people. If you are in school holidays, um, you probably are going to need a little bit of a pick me up. I imagine we're the first week into school holidays. There's still one more week to go. And if you're anything like me, you're still also juggling all the things that you need to do, versus all of the things that you want to do or maybe you don't want to do. Um, I was so fortunate to have Sophia give me an incredible pedicure with freezing cold water and multiple layers of nail polish, which was more on my skin than on my toenails. But hey, that's the joys of being a mom and having school holidays. So anyhow, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Seamus, for joining us as always. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carolina Jimenez. I am the founder at Cara PR. I'm a brand strategist and I am also a solo parent. I am ex-sales and executive support. I've been working in marketing, events, and advertising for the majority of my life. And my handsome co-pilot on the screen, Seamus Hart, the heart of Cara PR. And today we are going to run through a very exciting presentation for Brands Pure about the glow up or the blow up. How some brands stay iconic and some make a comeback while other ones absolutely lose the plot. So I am so pumped for today's session. It's going to be so much fun. So let's dig right in. Okay. So, um, you will notice that our presentation today is very colorful because it is Neurodiversity Month and we wanted the deck to feel colorful and energetic and easy to follow. So we want the session to be useful and fun. We are looking for lessons, not dunking for sport. So, Seamus.
Yeah, it's I think part of it as well is that a lot of businesses, and you probably have seen the same thing, that they see a shiny rebrand just magically fixes all the problems, and the fact is it's not always the case. There's always when there's a rebrand, the ones that go very well are the ones that are researched. So think of it like this. Untested brilliance is one step away from an unmitigated disaster. So it's really reminding that design choices lands in the reality of how the customer journey actually works. So it's not just, a pitch deck for pitch deck's sake. It's also has some context to how your business is actually run.
Absolutely. So we invite anyone who has joined us for the live to pop your questions. You can send them over on the email. You can also ping us a message via Facebook, Instagram, and all of them. But for now, let's dig in. I'm so excited.
Hmm.
So, um, this is our loving judging panel moment where we are looking at how brands age, recover, and occasionally self-sabotage. So the three buckets, simply put, are the icons that were the comeback kids. Um, we have the blunders, um, and then we're going to kind of give you our sort of 2 cents worth, and make sure that people understand, I suppose, that this is for a strategic commentary. We're not being snarks just for the sake of it, but we do want to have a bit of fun with it
Oh no, no,
because
absolutely. Like some of the examples are great. It's like it's a lot of flashbacks, and I think one of the key things is from a customer journey point of view is that they don't experience a rebrand as this kind of theoretical thing. It's part of their experience, which means it could be right on point, it could be clunky, it could be confusing, it could be something completely out of it, like left field. And part of it is that a brand can look very expensive and still like completely destroy their own journey because they don't understand the underlying mechanics of it.
yeah, for sure. Um, and we're going to get right into that. So, um, what makes brand evolution actually work? There is three factors in plain English, and that is recognition, relevance, and resonance. So, if we think about that, obviously recognition is what people already know. The relevance is why they should still care. And then the resonance is what makes it feel right now. So the evolution is not the costume change for attention, but it is the continuity plus a sharper fit.
Yeah, and if you think about it as well from like a UX or a service journey point of view, recognition is one of those factors that lowers cognitive load. So the user isn't relearning what the brand is or what it's about, which means that you're streamlining them to the point of sales or where you want to go to. Relevance also is that the repeat factor. So part of it is the reason why you would want to re-engage with a brand. Why do you do certain things? Again and again. The relevance is usually that behavioral driver or reason. And resonance is really, when you think about it, it's just really about the message and the feeling of the brand and the experience. Does it line up to the expectations? Think of it like this. If I'm going for a filet mignon, I'm not going to KFC for it. So it
Right?
comes out in the messaging. And it's also a reason why that you get some redesigns and they just feel jarring and disconnected. It's because they just haven't really done what they're meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I suppose in essence, now that we have that framework, let's start with the ones that aged well. And again, we would love for anyone to let us know any brands that they would like our take on, and we will work out, we will give you our 5 cents worth on, whether they've got the recognition, the relevance, or the resonance in their court in terms of their brand glow up or blow up. So icons that have aged well. Um, So in this segment, we're going to talk about the brands that didn't panic, they evolved, but they didn't throw away the codes that made them people, they made them brands that people recognized. And this is usually where the restraint looks the most intelligent.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's all about communication strategy and making things palatable and bite-sized for a customer to actually absorb and understand. And it's really about familiarity, the trust, and the idea is that the concept evolves over time. And there's tons of brands that do this so incredibly well and so seamlessly, is that they've taken you on the journey and you um, haven't really realized. I mean, Google and Instagram do this so effectively, and you haven't noticed that they've made all these updates.
Yeah. I mean, it was just the subtlety of changing the logo. And I suppose it wasn't even like a full change of the logo. It was just these, yeah, as you said, like subtle tweaks to it. And yeah, Google, when I think about like the circle versus it used to be the eyes everywhere, and the word Google instead of like
Mm.
running writing. But yeah, so essentially these brands didn't wake up one day and just go, hey, I'm going to become random and unrecognizable. So let's start with one that has aged beautifully without losing its lane. And that is Levi's. So Levi's is incredible because the comeback reads as broader than a visual refresh. It feels more like a return to cultural desirability. And the emotional shift matters because people don't just notice the brand again, they want to be seen with it again. And so here on the screen, we've got one of the oldest ads that I was like, I went through a whole stack of their ads. And so this one I was the shrink to fit jeans, and it was the laundromat advertising campaign.
I
Do
think
you
it was
remember this one, Seamus?
oh yeah, I do. I was about to say I remember that they did a series of them and they had some of the best actors in it. I think there was a Brad Pitt one, um, and a few others, but they did it in such a way where it really resonated with the coolness of the brand. It was a real heritage hack when you think about it, because it's all about like the Americana vibe, the 50s kind of cool, bit rebellious vibe, and they've managed to keep that up and very timeless. I mean, if you look at some of the campaigns from the 90s, the ads are still up on YouTube and people are still visiting, and some of them are amazing. There's the one of the best ones I've seen is the campaign, and it's really ties into their heritage and experience. Um, it it was using top music at the time, and I forget what I think it was called, the Caravan, and it was all black and white. They had two models, and they had the best hook in the campaign, where it's this cowboy in the river. These two women find these jeans from what they think is this cowboy in the middle of like the it looks like Yellowstone, and
Oh,
they've
right.
picked it
Yeah.
up, and like he's getting out of the water, but he's got into the water, like into the lake with his jeans on, and then they're looking
Right.
around
So
at
they thought they were going to get a
who they
surprise when he
are, and
came
it's
out.
this really big old guy, bearded hillbilly looking guy get out.
Yeah.
It's the best misdirection, but it's one of those things that it did the thing where it just showed it was available to anyone, like
Yes.
anyone can have it. It showed how cool they were.
Yeah.
um, I think it's the campaign's called The Creek, and it actually won a ton of awards.
Yeah.
So amazing one. But the interesting thing about it is that like it really put them on the map, and it also really sold the quality of it. So it showed that they were lasted through everything, and they're still around now. They're like went back to the heritage of the brand, and also my favorite bit was the fact that it was just it cinematically it was amazing. Also had a really good song from Silt Skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was. I'll have to send it to you. It's one of the best ads.
I love Levi's because really they have been serving longevity. Like they've had a major grow up. They've maintained that heritage, they've maintained that consistency, and they've continued to reinvent themselves. So they are a classic example of a brand that didn't panic. They still have the same identity, and when customers instantly recognize their category, their tone, um, the trust cues the brand, and they can just continue to refresh the edges without even feeling like they have to do a complete overhaul. And so I would vote this one as a glow up. How about
Oh,
you?
oh, absolutely. And I've just done a bit of the search on it. So the campaign that I was thinking of, Levi's 501s, run by BBH, and it's always glow up with them. It's always consistent heritage. They reinvent in a very um, dynamic way, but it's like a bit paradoxical. But yeah, the campaign was called The Creek, and it was from BBH, released in 1994. Cool video clip.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, you'll have to
I
look
feel
it
like
up.
we should
It's
almost
amazing.
play it. Should we play it?
Yeah, we can play it.
I love this old advert here.
This
I
is
mean,
Bill,
like,
rushing the big prezzo
oh,
and getting
hold
a
on, you got to show us the
nagging
screen.
headache.
Sorry, I was getting the link for you, and it's opened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just shoot it too. So cool. Love this ad.
Here it is.
I should have sent it through earlier. I just totally forgot about it. So good though.
HCF, we're not for profit. So what
Oh,
are we for?
love this ad.
We're not for paying out profits. We
Yeah.
are for giving profits back to our members in benefits. So you get more. You get more. You what? A cat. You over there. You get more.
Well done, HCF.
Such a good ad. God. Oh my Amazing
God,
ad.
that is
It
so
won
good.
so many awards. Yeah, it's one of my like, yeah, it's an
Oh
amazing
my
one.
God. That is um nice one. All right. Now where we went back to our glow up. My glow up. Now, can you see my presentation page again?
Yes.
Yes.
See
Okay,
it?
cool. So that's a mega glow up. Levi's nailed it. Well done, Levi's. All righty. So our next comeback queen is Coach. And Seamus, oh look, my little slider's gone.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. So I remember you giving me the history of Coach, and how they started out, and I was just like, I loved that story because, you know, we love our brands, we love our labels, but not all of us love the price tag that is
Mm,
associated with it. So it is a really interesting background. And when you think about, like, once people know what the background is, like, you just really, it makes you admire how far they've come.
mm,
Um, And I suppose just the possibility for anyone to be able to pivot with the right research and user experience design.
Oh,
So
absolutely. And part of it with the UX lesson that you can come from is that all of their decisions are based on research, deep research.
yeah,
So if you look at their heritage, they've had times where they've had to shift, and they've shifted before they've been pushed from a strategic point of view. So originally they started off with stagecoach baggage. Then they moved into, hence the name Coach and the heritage of the logo. And then they moved into more sporting equipment based upon the things that they could, the like the different materials. They weren't that good at it, and then they kind of switched into bags, which was more close to their heritage, but more aimed at the female market.
yeah,
They've had so many different iterations of it. The thing that they've reinvented lately, which is mind blowing, is that they've been getting into a lot of the kind of the rappers and the kind of the more socio-political movements,
right,
um, because they look at it as like a Louis Vuitton on a budget. So
yeah,
they've positioned themselves in such a way where you don't have to have a fake, you can have the real thing. And by the way, your favorite rappers and celebrities are having it as well.
yeah,
And they've got the heritage of their brand, so they've got that quality. And they've also got some funky new colors. They do a lot of testing with what they're doing, and they've really inserted themselves into media. So yeah, huge, like the relevance in it is amazing. They just
mm,
know their audience so well and who they're actually targeting, and more for the point, why.
yeah. No, I love it. I think this is a really useful comeback queen case study because it's broader than just a visual refresh. It feels like a return to cultural desirability. It's an emotional shift that matters, that people do not just notice a brand design again, they see it and they want to be with it again. They want to be a part of it, like they become it. So in terms of comeback queen, they revived, they remained relevant, and they ignited desirability again in a whole new way. So I'm saying this is like a major glow up for Coach. They nailed it. What do you reckon?
Oh no, absolutely. And the thing is that they learned off the mistakes that Abercrombie and Fitch made, where
Oh God.
they managed to no, but they managed to balance up the desirability and the exclusiveness, but they also managed to make it open for really anyone. So
Yeah.
it's really ageless in
Yeah.
what they've actually targeted. So yeah, absolute glow up and absolutely hitting the market every single time.
Yay, Coach. Golf clap.
Go Clay.
All right. Now, this one I love. So,
Yeah.
this is a very old-fashioned advert for Coach. Sorry, for Jag. Um, and my notes, my notes. Oh, sorry, go back.
Cool.
Anyway, so Jaguar always in my mind and in my experience was that very like high-end, prestigious, like grandfather mansion dwelling,
It was cool.
very
It was cool without being stuffy. It was like that
yes.
kind of aristocratic type of a spin to it. But it was cool. It wasn't like a daggy car. It was something that everyone wanted.
Yeah, and
Um,
it was sexy and very
mm,
sleek and yeah, just so there was so much status to it. So anyway, they've
mm.
gone through an absolutely polarizing shift. Um and I think that they have wanted to come out swinging. They didn't want to just be an old man's car. They wanted to become the new I don't know, like the new Bentley or like a new
I
Aston Martin or something like that. But
don't
they
know
wanted to be a
what.
disruptor. I know, and they were willing to take some risks, but in the process of doing that,
Oh God, that was a car crash, literally and figuratively.
yes. So they this would not be a glow up. This would be a blow up because
Oh,
bold is not always aligned, as we can see here. So Jaguar is so interesting because it shows how a brave move can still leave the audience asking what the happened here. Risk is not actually the problem here. It's the unclear translation that is the problem. And customers need to they need a bridge into the next chapter. Like you can't just start telling us a story about, Cinderella and then all of a sudden start telling us about, Star Wars. Like they're just
yeah.
two completely different stories. And
Mm.
this, what I'm looking at, looks like something from Star Wars.
It's
Or
not like my theory with their rebrand is that they took a bit from Balenciago that had they're known for their quirkiness and weirdness, and I think that's an offshoot of the Yeezy years.
oh god.
Um, and they've done something, and the problem was that from a UX perspective, they've completely ignored the customer journey. And they basically go, oh, our heritage, we're going to not do that anymore. We're going to do something completely different. And we're also going to move into EVs. And they didn't even bother like doing any basic research. I get why they were kind of moving in there, but it was really weird. And the funniest thing is I had a look at the stats on it. Um, but yeah, untested brilliance is one step away from an unmitigated disaster. And apparently that year they sold 49 cars worldwide.
Oh my
That's how
god.
bad it was.
And what would their do you know what was the stat that they would normally sell?
I think it was thousands, but it was just
Ah.
such a confusing mess. No one knew who the car was for, what they were selling. Like I don't associate even with the ads. I looked at it and I just didn't get it. It's like these weird alien things, and they never showed a car once.
And so basically this was not a pivot. This was like a pirouette off a cliff.
Yep.
Okay, so glow up or blow up? I mean, this is like a mega blow up.
I think it was a mixture of a few things, and I think it was definitely a blow up, but I think also that they were pivoting to a different type of vehicle, but they were also alienating their customer base, which you don't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, like the
Um,
polarizing change that just was
it's
like, oh my God, who are you? What is this ugly looking alien car that you've just given me? Like,
yeah,
given that they had been holding this very classic and sleek and luxurious essence to this, like, I mean,
mm,
it almost looks in some ways like transgender and all
I
these
don't know.
other
I don't know
weird
what it
alien-esque.
I don't know what it was, but it was just a like I when I watched the ads, I don't know who they were actually selling for. I don't know
It's
who it
yeah.
was for. They were just like these weird ads, a little bit like on The Simpsons, where Homer was advertising his plow business, and everyone at the end goes, "What the hell was that?" It's the same thing. It's like the really good ad campaigns, and this comes from Ogilvy. If you've got Ogilvy on advertising, read it, or anything by written by the BBH creators. They all say the same thing. It's research, research, research. Know who it's for and test it before you actually launch it. Because like a sample ad is easy to test and see if it's understandable with like a small focus group. Um, Pulling out a campaign that absolutely destroys a brand is very expensive, and it takes them years to actually recover.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll allow it for now. Thank
Yeah.
you, Seamus. All right, so now we have the very famous Gap. Um, Now, this is a cautionary tale of a blow up. And in that tale, we see backlash, confusion, and retreat. So Seamus, do you want to take the lead on Gap? I feel like you know Gap
Oh, I
inside
know a
out.
little bit about it. It's more from a UX lens, is that you had a very passionate supporter base who had a lot of ownership of the brand. They grew up with it, they saw the favorite pop icons in there, and suddenly Gap decided out of nowhere is to rebrand.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it wasn't bad. It was just not really fitted into the service model, and also underestimating like that brand is the real estate in someone's mind.
Yeah.
So you can't go over to your neighbor's house and decide you don't like their garden, so I'll prune it. It's the same thing with a lot of brands. It's like you've got to be very, very careful when they're really loved.
Yeah. So Gap is really valuable in terms of learning because it shows us just how fast people react when a familiar identity is replaced with something that feels arbitrary. And the issue itself was not change. The issue was the change that felt really disconnected from what people actually knew and valued.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that. And from a UX lens, it was really a mismatch between like system memory and new signals. So you're losing out on that. People had the brand that they knew and loved, and then suddenly they were completely blindsided by something completely different. So it means that new doesn't always equal utility from a bottom line, or a change doesn't always mean that it's going to be amazing. Again, test, test, test.
Yeah. So basically, their logo got a haircut, but the strategy still needed therapy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So this would be, and like I was having a look online about all of the flack that they got for this particular campaign, um, and having a subtle racism in there with the
Mm.
little young
Oh God, I
lady.
remember that. That was so bad.
Yeah, yeah. So what are the patterns underneath these misses, Seamus?
Well, I mean, the patterns are, when you think about it, it's not aligning to what your audience is expecting, not testing enough, and not actually looking at the brand in situ, actually looking at in context of how your customers are going to interpret it. That's probably the best way I can explain it.
Yeah. So really, Gap remains a useful case study based on the when recognizable equity gets swapped for something generic and customers notice immediately. So
Oh yeah,
now
this is great. This is, yeah, I totally forgot about this one. It's so good.
this is a good one. So
So yeah,
take it
so
away, Seamus.
oh no, I'll put it away. So what happened was, about 10 years ago, Macca's decided to do a ask the internet to name a burger on their launch of their screens in the Mac cafes and like online apps that they were launching in Australia and New Zealand. And they thought, oh, what we'll do is we'll put up the campaign. People can make their own burger, and the most popular burger by vote will end up on the menu. Really bad idea. Really, really bad idea. And it was, yeah, it's probably the next slide shows how bad it got. So they completely hijacked it. So the internet got involved. The campaign lasted all of about 72 hours before they had to turn it off, completely unmoderated. They did not know how could this possibly go wrong. And they also, from my understanding and from a lot of the articles out there on it, is they didn't have the right talent driving it. They had people who were from very traditional backgrounds who didn't quite understand how social media works, and especially when it gets hijacked. And I love the quote, if you think a professional is expensive, go hire an amateur. But here's some of the more safe for work ones that I could put up, and they were terrible. There was no moderation on it. So you can imagine some of the names and what were going up on there. Probably go to the next one, which I always love. So this is a problem waiting to happen. It's like within a few hours of the campaign going up, 4chan hijacked it and spammed the hell out of it. Um, the problem from a social media point of view and from a digital point of view, if you don't have the expertise and you don't have the guardrails, expect a problem. So they ended up
Mm.
having to pull this whole campaign because it was just utter chaos. And some of the burgers were just, oh my God, I can't even repeat them. That's how bad they were. I went through and I'm just like, I'm trying to find the safe for work ones, and some of them were just like absolutely rotten. Um, but it's
There
one
was
of
a
these.
racist burger in there, wasn't there? Using
There were
the
more
N
than
word.
race. There was more than racist. It was so bad. Like there were a lot of references to a certain person from history from the 1940s. There was also a lot more other, yeah, not positive times in history references, and they just couldn't keep up with referencing it. And there were no guardrails on it. It was like ridiculous. It's like they weren't even filtering out like keywords. And there was some fun. I mean, and then there were also some really funny ones like the sad European, the Carbonator, which was just this burger with burger buns on there. That so there was really nothing around there. So for something that could have been really funny and quirky, it was hijacked and pure hilarity.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, it's one of the. I think it won the worst campaign of the 2010s, which is pretty bad. But yeah, what's your take on
I
it?
mean, I have seen so many of these types of things where like someone in marketing goes, oh, let's do a post that says, free fuel for anyone who comes and fills up with wearing only bikinis and heels. So there was this
Oh,
hilarious one that I saw. I posted it on my TikTok actually. And so all of these men turned up in, a bikini top and heels and were getting free petrol. Like
oh,
they weren't sending their wives there, but basically they had to like shut down the petrol station. But it was just gold. Like there were all these photos of all these like, dudes like filling up their cars and lined up
it's
in their
social. Don't
bikinis.
ask social media. It's I had a brand once that did this campaign, and it was having fun with the drink in context. And what they decided is to get photos of people having fun with this certain drink. Yeah, it didn't end like that at all. The pictures were pretty bad. I think the campaign lasted about 2 hours before it was shut down by like other sources. It's yeah, because it had a problem with how people were drinking, and it broke some rules on safe service of alcohol. Uh,
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
and also the competition prize was to win a year's supply of it, which was also not really a good thing to do.
Yeah, a year supply of alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just supply them for a year. Like, doesn't matter if we're encouraging alcoholism or, poor health or anything like that. Oh my God, it's crazy. The things that people used to get away with is like,
It's
or
crazy.
that weren't thought out, like there wasn't processes and procedures in terms of, setting up these guardrails and pre-planning and mitigating risk and stuff like that. It's just classic. Like I could only imagine the heart attacks that people would get if they go to Macca's and they were to see like a sad European or the N-word burger or
Yes, they had a
the
lot of those burgers, and they had one which was it was just like 8 meat patties called
the
the
diabetic or something.
McThin privilege. Um yeah, they had
Hidden privilege.
no
That we
thin
said
as in
the thin privilege. Oh, right, because
yeah,
only thin people could eat that many burgers.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Was
I
so
mean, even
bad.
something like eating competitions. Remember like people used to do all these like eating competitions, like how many burgers you could eat, and then like
Yeah,
oh just
I've unfortunately got a shirt or two from those types of things. It's like it's both the best and worst thing all at the same time.
I could imagine you doing that, Seamus, actually.
Mm.
An
I
eating
think I've still got
competition.
a kilo steak challenge t-shirt, which was wrong on so many levels, but yeah, I've got the t-shirt. I
Wow,
should wear it on for the next one.
that is insane. I mean, over in where is it? It's in Germany, isn't it? Where they have like the huge schnitzel chicken palmy and
Yeah.
they have the big, is it the Stein or something?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. The I think it's the boot. Yeah. I'll have to look that up after.
Yeah, classic. So essentially, you always need to mitigate risk with the internet because let's face it, if someone like Macca's can get hijacked,
Mm.
you can only imagine what it's going to do for like a smaller business. And especially if you put a whole heap of money, time, and resources into something like this, you're just, oh my God, you're just opening yourself up for so much
Yeah.
pain. And who is this 4chan? 4chan must have been like a hacker or
Oh,
some
it's a
kind
bit
of,
of a joke. So it's started off as an online community in the mid 2000s where it was you could get like Anime, and then it's just kind of morphed into something completely different. And yeah, it's basically a bunch of anons who get together, there's groups of it on there that are very inappropriate, some of them that are yeah, insane, some of them who are not, others who are just like it's just part of internet culture and a part in history. It has changed massively. But yeah, it's a really interesting it's got a very interesting and kind of checkered past as a an online community. It's that would be just the video itself. But yeah, it's one of those things where people get online and they will put things on Reddit or social media, and you can get a very big snowball effect very quickly, which is something that you may not want. But
yeah.
yeah,
Oh dear. So what goes wrong when you pull the patterns together, prettier but emptier, rebranding without fixing the experience, and change for novelty rather than a strategic need? The key point is really that alignment matters more than trendiness.
yeah, and you're right about that, and especially where UX becomes that reality check. So the UX process and research, and if the underlying journey is still confusing, a visual upgrade some new paint on it is not going to make much of a difference. Brands over time, the successful ones, invest in the underlying structure and the research and the understanding. So understanding your customer, your business, and how that's interpreted is like key.
Yeah. Okay. So like, if it looks nice, but it means less, essentially, the customer is tired. The brand said premium, but the experience said good luck. Right?
Absolutely. No, you're spot on.
Um, Alrighty, I love it. So yeah, I mean, premium visuals can rescue premium visuals cannot rescue a painful customer journey. Like, it doesn't matter how wonderful it looks. Like, if it's broken, it's broken.
Yeah.
Like, people will get so angry and annoyed and probably just not come back. So it ends up being very expensive in more ways than one. Um, Especially if you get to an expensive pivot that nobody asked for. Um, like, some brands are just not really evolving. They're just bored. And they're just changing stuff that's not even broken. So really it becomes expensive boredom. And so what would you say, out of these three patterns, that we see the most in industry?
Ooh, I I think probably the pattern that I've seen the most is customer assumptions. Is that a business will have assumptions around the customer, and instead of actually going out and testing it really cheaply, they just do, you know, put a nice coat of paint on it and expect that to work, where it doesn't always, work in that way.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's why you need a good UX designer.
Yeah, and research,
Um,
research.
so glow up, blow up, or beige. We had heritage brand updates. Um, their packaging but keeps iconic cues. We've had a luxury brand that flattens its logo and now looks like everyone else. And we've had a beautiful campaign but painful website. Um, and then like a nostalgic relaunch that actually improves relevance. Coach would be like an example. And then obviously like a viral rebrand that nobody understands the offer. So vote in the chat. Out of I want you to put the number and then comment whether or not it's a glow up, a blow up, or a beige. And so yeah, we'll just give it a minute for that. Go ahead, Seamus.
Oh no, I was just saying, no, it's interesting. It's like the most significant problem I see with it is lack of research. And it's something that even David Ogilvy made an entire business about. So Ogilvy, they're known and renowned for their customer insights and research, from like a brand and advertising point of view. And it's something that it's going to save you so much money and so much pain in the long run. Because it's easier and cheaper to fail with 10 people than it is with your entire cohort.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. I mean, and it doesn't take much really to just put it through a small group first. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
common
like
common sense.
exactly. It's really just around the coherence of the brand, and how they understand it, and if what you're selling is aligned to what they want.
Yeah, so true. So now we're getting to the most important part, which is that the strongest brands keep what is meaningful, they improve what's outdated, and they make sure that the experience matches the promise. And this is where you bridge the examples back to our own brand decisions. So yeah, Seamus.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the key one is if you think about it, a coherent brand, so a coherent message is something that's going to reduce friction, so reduce those pain points and increase trust and understandability. That's probably the big takeaway I can take out of it. It's really just making what you're doing far more understandable to that piece of real estate in someone's brain.
Yeah, so true. So, before you go for the full rebrand and the personality transplant, just make
Yeah.
sure that the customer asked for one.
Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. It's like literally just ask someone.
And so now to close our brainstorm for today, if your brand needs a smarter evolution, this is the kind of work that we love. And Seamus with the UX.
I think it's more about clarity isn't so much decoration. It's what good brands need to understand. It's trust, and it's also about who you're buying from. So making that easier to understand.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
research,
Yeah.
research, research.
Yeah. Glow up is allowed, public wobble is optional. So
Mm.
we are inviting you to reach out if you would like a little bit of help with your brand strategy and your customer experience. Thank you for taking part in our brainstorm today. I hope you found it enjoyable and also a good reference point in terms of brands that have done incredible things, and then brands that have just absolutely killed themselves through just very poorly thought out decisions. And you can probably go and research some of those Macca's blunders for yourself, because some
Oh
of them
yeah,
are just
they're great, but not at work.
a little bit too outrageous to pop up on our screen, but you will have such a good laugh. So
Mm.
go and check it out. If you would like to book your free discovery call with Seamus and I to look at how we can power up your strategy, visibility, and momentum, as well as the UX that makes the whole thing make sense for your business and your brand, we will allow that. So the link is on our website to book your CPR discovery call, and I will also drop it in the chat. Thank you so much, Seamus, for being your charismatic self as always. We would love to help. So let's talk, reach out, DM. But until next time, we will look forward to seeing you. Enjoy the rest of school holidays, and peace out. Bye.
Fun.